Feel good on 99 FM.
Powering our future is the name of this segment. And I'll tell you what, the Ministry of Mines and Energy Namibia employs a diverse range of professionals, each with a crucial role in natural resource management, environmental sustainability and public engagement. Now, these careers contribute to national development by ensuring the responsible exploration, extraction, utilization and maintenance of our mineral and energy resources. Today in studio with me is Miss Josephine Uushona, who is a senior geoscientist at the Ministry of Mines and Energy. And of course, she'll be telling us a little bit about these careers and how one can become a part of their team in future. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you, Shante?
I'm great. Thank you very much. I'm pretty excited. I'm thinking maybe this is a good time for me to switch careers. It looks like, it's giving you want to be there too. Maybe just to start off for everybody else to get into line with things, why is geology important? This is especially when we look at in our lives.
Yeah. I'm going to start off with a famous quote that we say at the Geological Survey.
Love it.
We say geology underlies everything. Mm-hmm. So geology is important because it's, I believe, the introduction to, I think, very life in itself.
Yeah.
So geology is important when it comes to water supply, for instance, groundwater supply. You need geology to understand the rocks, to understand which rocks can hold this water, to understand the aquifers, to understand the intricacies maybe of groundwater in itself. Yeah. Geology is important because everything that you see around us come from geology, come from minerals, the sound waves, the fact that we are able to see each other, to see us on your screen is because of the minerals that are found by geologists. So it's quite important, and I can't say it in one sense, but as we go through, you'll see how important it is.
All right, talking about going through things, one of the many things that you'll also be underlining is the careers aspect of things. And what different geological professionals are actually employed there?
We have different ones, and they are based on different subdivisions that we have at the Geological Survey.
All right.
So we have a geochemistry subdivision that employs geochemist. You have, under that, you have lab technicians as well. Okay. You have regional geochemical geologists as well that go out in the field and find soil samples for analysis. And you have regional mapping geologists. These are the ones who map the different types of rocks that we have in the country. Okay. You have the economic part of it, the economic geologist, and they focus on the economic value of the minerals that we find. Right. Like how do they contribute to economically to our country? And there's geophysics as well. So they look at the subsurface of the earth. Okay. They look at what is within the earth. So they give us details on where can you find the ore body, what is the magnetic signature of different types of rocks as well that could give us different types of minerals. Okay. And then you have geodata. All right. These are geologists that focus on data in itself, the collection of data, the management of data, and obviously there's also a component of geoscience information where you have this geologist compile all different types of information and be able to disseminate it out to the public.
All right. Yeah. A very good morning to you. In case you are just joining in right on time, don't worry. That's with a senior geoscientist at the Ministry of Mines and Energy, Miss Josephine Uushona, who is, of course, tapping through the various options in case you also have had your eyes on it, but you're like, is it? Could it be? Is it what I think? That's in terms of the careers and how one can actually become a part of their team in future. Now, I think another thing is, it's one thing to share the different professionals, right? But really, the bigger part is what it takes to be a geologist.
I think it takes a lot. Hey, if you hear the stories of my colleagues, they'll be like, "I didn't think I'm gonna be a geologist, or I didn't even know there's a term called geology."
Interesting, that's true.
So, if you're interested in anything adventurous,
Okay.
or anything you are curious about the different types of rocks that you see, or you are curious about how the earth works,
Yeah.
or how do we find certain minerals, or even like space sciences,
Yeah.
you to start off a career in geology, you have to do a 4-year degree in geology, and this is done locally at the University of Namibia.
All right.
But you could also go out to other countries, South Africa and the likes. And you study a 4-year degree. Most importantly, part of my line of work is I go to schools, right, to talk about the importance of geology.
Okay.
And what I get is maybe a student who's studying law, for example, and they're like, I like law, but I'm also interested in how the rock works, or I'm interested in how the management of water or the management of the environment. So I'm always like, yes, to be a geologist, you need your scientific subjects, you need your maths, you need your physics, and you need to be able to pass that in a very you need to work hard.
Yeah.
You need to have an A or a B.
Okay.
I think a C. You are trying.
Okay. Love it.
So you need to get that 4-year degree in science or in geology. And if you want to specialize, then you can move over to your master's, whether now you have found a particular module that you want to do that interests you within your 4 years, then you can venture into that and become maybe an environmental geologist or a mapping geologist or something like that in those lines. But for those that do not have that line of science, but also are interested in anything environmental, there are things that you can combine to be part of the mining or the geology industry. So you could do mining law, or you can do environmental law, so that you be the one to give policies or to analyze policies, to formulate policies when it comes to the environment or when it comes to mining. So there's a lot of disciplines that feeds into geology that we can all tap into.
All right. Well, if you were thinking about that combination, it's actually possible. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, on the other side of things, we look into how the work of Geological Survey Namibia actually contributes to the Mines and Energy Ministry, as well as really just the land of the brave holistically. Keep it locked.
Namibia's mining sector is the backbone of our economy, driving development and creating opportunities across the nation. The Department of Mines ensures the responsible and optimal utilization of our rich mineral resources, integrating mining with other sectors for a sustainable future. From securing mineral rights to ensuring mine safety and environmental responsibility, we support every scale of mining operation while promoting socio-economic growth. Harnessing our resources, powering our future.
In energy, and in studio with us we have a senior geoscientist at the Ministry of Mines and Energy, and just here to break down a little bit about the various careers and also how one can become part of their team in the future. Of course, we touched on the importance of geology in our lives. Actually, if ever you thought geology is just you're just learning about rocks because your friend who also just studied geology is in their first year and it looks like all they come through home to chat about is different rocks. Guess what? Even the sort of contributions through audio waves and all of these things, seeing each other, water and rocks, imagine planting with a rock even. Hey, this life must be nice, man. Look at that creation. All of that is actually part of geology, right? But we also want to touch base with something else. And, earlier we got to break down the different qualifications, or at least the professionals that are employed there. And like I mentioned, it's Miss Josephine Uushona who's joining us and really making sure we get into the bits of this. I think right now I just want to touch base with how the work of Geological Survey Namibia actually contributes to the Ministry of Mines and Energy and really just Namibia as a whole.
So I think we contribute in a variety of ways, but I think I want to focus it on the one that I think most of us can relate to, and that's mining.
All right.
So the Geological Survey, what it does is it creates baseline data. And what I mean about baseline data, it creates maps, geological maps, geochemical maps, geophysical maps. This type of information or data creates a path, for the establishment of mines, or for the exploration of mines, and then the establishment of mines. So without geology, we are unable to know what type of rocks do we have, and what do those rocks have in them, what type of minerals do they have. So when you have a geological map, as let's say, and as an investor, right? So your first initial point is to collect geological data. That puts you into a mind, or a state of mind, or a frame of thinking that, okay, this is the data that I have, and I want to explore for copper. What type of rocks host copper? Where do I find them? Where are they in Namibia? In which regions are they? And at what depth are they? So all this type of information the Geological Survey provides. So when you get to a point where you now decide, okay, I want to invest in copper. This is the details that I have. I now know where to go. So
100%.
You don't just go there and you find the copper. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So because of all this scientific research and data that you've collected, it points you into a probable place where you can go do mining. So when you get there, you still need to explore for it. You still need to go and do your geological studies. You still need to do your mapping. You still need to do your geochemical studies. What I mean by that is that when you find that area, now you have to collect physical, tangible information. So you now have to collect your rocks. You have to collect your soil samples. You take them to the lab and you analyze them, right? And when you analyze them, and then you are given, okay, this is the amount of copper you could have in these rocks. And this is the amount of copper that could be in this particular area. So with that, you just don't up and say, fine, I'm going to now start a mine. Then after that, you have to economically test your ground. Is it viable if I mine this copper? Does it make sense for me? Will I get my value out of my investment? So now you need to go into your economic geology. You need to get into mineral resource development and all these other things. So the work that we do, like I said the last time I was on air, is that it's not directly, you don't see it directly, because it's a whole chain of it.
Definitely a process.
So it creates that path for the Ministry of Mines to confidently say, we have this data, and with this data, we are an attraction for mineral investment. We can put ourselves in that line of our data speaks for themselves. The quality of the data speaks for itself. So when it comes to the nation at large, is the establishment of mines. Is your Husap mine, is your Lange Heinrich mine. So we are contributing indirectly to the employment of our people. We are contributing to to the GDP of the country, which then boils down to the establishment or the construction of schools, of hospitals, of clinics, and all the roads that we drive on. So all these things really come into boils down into the type of data that the Geological Survey provides.
All right. A very good morning to you once again. That's Ms. Josephine Uushona, a senior Geo-Scientist at the Ministry of Mines and Energy. Of course, breaking down how the work of the Geological Survey Namibia actually contributes to the Ministry of Mines and Energy and Namibia at large. But because time doesn't like us so much.
It hates
this
us.
Conversation just started, but we got to say goodbye. But before I say any of those goodbyes, just any last words from your side?
I think what I want to tell the listeners is that we would want to really start a series of showing out the importance of geology. Also focusing on career, like the careers that we have at the survey and how they impact our people.
Yeah.
So if anybody who's listening and is interested in geology, and not only that, if you have kids in I don't know, grade 7, or they're now going to high school and they don't know what to do, I think this is a good platform to keep on listening, because then in the future episodes we'll be able to really break down what it takes to be a exploration geologist, or what it takes to work in an economic geology division, so that we give you a full story.
Yeah.
Because what I've noticed is that when we talk about geology, just the mountains and the rocks, so we want to give you a full story and break down, and actually for you to see and appreciate the career itself.
Also, if you're a little like me wondering if geologists actually have a 24-hour day, we'll get to know that with that kind of series.
Exactly.
Because, I'm wondering. Thank you so much for joining us today.
No, thank you for having me.
Well, that's how we are powering the future with the Ministry of Mines and Energy every Thursday. A very good morning to you. Got to get to your news. 99 FM, that's where you are.
Feel good on 99 FM.